Welcome back, everyone, to another episode on Living Your Greatness. This is your host, Ben Mummy, and the goal of my show is really simple: to learn from those who have mastered their craft. If you're new to my show, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Today, we have a new guest to the show, and his name is Giri Devanur. He is the founder and the CEO of reAlpha. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Giri.
Hi, Ben. How are you today?
I'm super good today. Honestly, can't complain. Weather's been super nice recently in Montreal, really hot. What about you?
I'm in New York. It's beautiful out today, so nothing to complain.
Let's start with your origin story. Where did you grow up and what inspired you, to combine AI and real estate? And how do you see, this technology, transforming the industry in the next decade?
Well, a lot of loaded questions there. Where did I start? I did my undergrad in India. I was born in a small town. My parents were school teachers. That's where my life started. It's about 200 kilometers away from Bangalore. Bangalore is like the Silicon Valley of India, right? So I was born there and I grew up there. And I came to US way back in 1991 with pretty much nothing, and then built my life here. For 7 years, I was doing all kinds of technology gigs, etc. Before the gig worker and the digital nomad, etc. were popular, I was doing that life, taking contracts in different parts of the world and traveled a lot, etc. So 97, then I started my first company called Ivega. I scaled it over the next 8 years from one person to about 1,000 people between Bay Area and Bangalore. Okay. And in 2005, I exited that company. And then, I moved back to India and then tried to do a large, $1.2 billion kind of project. And our investor was Lehman Brothers. When Lehman Brothers collapsed, we became kind of collateral damage. And then, I had to take that hit, and I decided I don't want to spend too much time on it anymore. So in 2010 I moved back to the US, and I decided that I wanted to do my master's. That was one of those pending items. So I went back to school, went to Columbia University, did my master's in technology, and then 2013 we launched a company. My brother and I worked on it together, and we launched it and took it to Nasdaq in under 4 years. By the end of 2017, we had scaled that company from zero to $50 million in revenue and got it listed on Nasdaq. Once I rang the Nasdaq bell, again, that was a bucket list item. Once I rang that bell, I said, I'm going to do something else. And then, I started investing in it. And that is when I got the idea of reAlpha. And, I've been working on it since then.
What is a common myth right now in the real estate when it comes to AI that you would like to debunk?
See, a lot of people in not only real estate, right? In most sectors, people think that AI will not take their jobs. They are wrong. That's a myth. The way AI is shaping up is just mind-numbing. So Ben, if you go through my LinkedIn, you will see one post wherein everybody thinks AI is new. First of all, AI is not new. Okay. When I was doing my undergrad way back in the early 90s, the AI was a subject. We thought, AI will change the world back then. It took another 30 years to get where we are. So what it is going to do is it's going to, revolutionize every aspect of every business. So it's not limited to real estate, right? Real estate guys are, getting hit with the technology wave now. But, see, if you go back to, stock trading, let's take an example, right? I used to, support, in Bank of America Securities long back. I was supporting the trading desk. People used to come to what is known as the pit and, scream and show, fingers and, those kind of communication, right? Today, if you go to, either Nasdaq or New York Stock Exchange, there is no floor. Everything is run by the computers. 60 to 70% of all the trades that happen in the US today are high frequency trading, right? So the human is being eliminated, completely altogether. So algo tradings have taken over. Same thing happened in the travel industry. There is no more travel agent per se, right? So like that, even real estate industry, like it's going to, disrupt, get disrupted in every single way. There is not one way, right? In every way, it is going to get disrupted. In 5 years, it will be completely unrecognizable.
I love that. Could you maybe just dive a little deeper though? You're saying that AI is going to have such an impact on so many different industries. What makes you so confident in this?
Well, see, like if you look at the wave of technologies that have come in the past, right? See, when cell phone revolution started around the world, at the beginning of that, like in 2008, if you go back in time, Nokia was the largest player. Like with their little, keyboard laden phones, right? BlackBerry was the king of the smartphones. What happened to them? iPhone came and just killed them, right? So, like go back, further, if you go to, before the .com versus, after the .com, right? Like, Amazon has become as big as Walmart today, right? Every industry, if you look at it, gets completely disrupted with the invention of a new wave of technology. And AI is, the difference is this time, AI, see, like in the earlier, it used to be, like probably blue collar workers which were getting disrupted. Today it is different. See, Mark Anderson, almost 10 years back, or maybe 15 years back now, he made a statement that software will eat the world. AI is going to just accelerate that.
What are some other AI standout companies that you admire right now across the board?
See, Perplexity is one such company. See, again, like that's a very hard question to answer, right? What is successful today? It might be, like gone in dusted. Again, I'll give you, the example from the history. History is they say that, right? History repeats. Actually, history doesn't repeat; it rhymes. You can see the waves and like the patterns that emerge out of history, right? So like if you look at search engine, for example, right? When Google came, Google was the 22nd search engine. There were companies like Yahoo, Infoseek, AltaVista, etc., who were probably much more revolutionary than Google. And today Google is like 95% of the search market, right? But can Google be disrupted? Absolutely. Every like new technology will come and kill the old technology. So I don't know whether it's going to be ChatGPT or like Perplexity or somebody else. But definitely somebody is going to eat it. Already, I saw a report that Google's search ad revenue is going to go down to 50% in the coming years.
How is home ownership becoming harder for many people today? And how does reAlpha's, commission-free AI-powered platform make buying a home more affordable and accessible?
Yeah. See, like March 15th was a revolutionary day when the NAR settlement happened, National Association of Realtors, right? When that settlement happened, it disrupted a 110-year custom that was there, wherein a seller of a property paid 6% commission and 3% used to go to the buy side and 3% used to go to the sell side commission for the realtors. That got disrupted, and on August 17th, the new regime has started. It's been just less than a month and a half now, right? So, in that regime, a buyer has to negotiate with his own realtor what is the commission, and a seller has to negotiate with herself with her realtor. So there is no more standard 6% that the seller gives, etc. That is all gone, right? So what we thought was, if that is the case, why don't we launch a platform where it is zero commission and which will help people to save the money towards their down payment. For example, let's say you're buying $1 million home, 3% is $30,000. That's a lot of money. It is not about just affordable home, any home, right? I was surprised to hear one of my friend from California had come to New York, and I was having a breakfast. He was trying to buy a $3 million home, okay? And I was explaining what we are doing. I thought, like he's a rich guy. I thought, he doesn't need me. He said, Giri, for a $3.3 million home, a 3% is $100,000. Why would I not want to keep $100,000 for myself and invest in something else? That is when I realized it's no longer the problem of the affordability. It is the problem of every American.
Right. So then I'm curious to ask, knowing this information, how do you balance though the efficiency of AI with the need for personal touch in the home buying process? Like people are so used to the old school methods.
No, see, like if you go back to multiple industries, right? Travel agencies, I mentioned travel agencies. You see, till 2005, 2006, people used to visit their travel agent and like get physical tickets and stuff like that, right? That was the norm. Today, like do you do any of that, right? You go to one of those sites, Travelocity or Priceline or something like that, and then like you buy your flight tickets. Same thing, like car buying, right? Like Carvana kind of companies have revolutionized car buying. Like today you can go to cars.com or any of those kind of sites. You can buy the car without the necessary, communication that you would do with a car salesman. Do you really enjoy that conversation? No. Same way, we believe that buying a home, it's going to be completely automated. And what we have done in reAlpha is to have that end-to-end system, which can do right from searching a property, selecting, making an offer, visiting, finding mortgage, finding title, everything under the radar of buying a home. We have automated that, and we are using AI at various levels. It will get better and better as we do more and more transactions. I believe that like it will be like buying any other asset. Why should it be any different?
So Gary, real estate investing can be expensive and complex at times, but how is reAlpha using AI to make real estate investing more accessible for smaller investors and first-time buyers?
Yeah, see, like we have done a lot of thinking and work on helping these first-time home buyers by eliminating multiple layers in between and reducing the cost of the transaction. See, the more the friction, that is when like the costs increase, right? See, if you want to buy a home, in the past it used to be 6% commission plus another 2.5-3% used to go into closing costs. What we are saying is, like you can eliminate that 6% and focus on this 2.5. Even in that, can we figure out processes to eliminate the friction that is there in the system and hence bring down the costs to people? See, American dream is about owning a home. Our job is to, can we make it simple, easy, and especially millennials who don't want to talk to people, like they would want to do everything on their fingertips on a cell phone. That's how it should be, right? So that is what we have done in reAlpha to eliminate as many friction points as possible using AI, obviously.
What differentiates reAlpha from other real estate tech companies?
Yeah, see, we are a Nasdaq listed company. Our ticker is AIRE, AI for real estate. So, we are listed on Nasdaq. You can check it out. So, like we have access to, different kinds of instruments that, are available to us that, we are bringing it to help various customers. So what we are doing is we have identified the entire supply chain of, purchasing a home kind of situation. And there are multiple players that are there in between. And what we are doing is we are doing an acquisition-led growth. So we are buying companies in those spaces. For example, we bought this great company called Be My Neighbor, one of the leading mortgage providers in the country. This company is operational in 27 states now, and very soon it will be all over the country. And they have cracked the engine and they have cracked the code to get you the lowest home mortgage in terms of interest, etc. They match your profile with the right kind of financial institutions and bring you that. So what we are doing is we are adding one more layer of AI so that a technology can understand your current situation in terms of your affordability, what are your loans that are there, etc., and show you the right mortgage provider. That way, like what happens is your buying process becomes so much more easier. And what we are doing is, like bringing in different technologies to help in that process.
With housing prices and interest rates always changing, fluctuating up and down, how does reAlpha's AI assist buyers and investors in navigating these changes, to make smarter decisions?
Yeah. See, like interest rate, obviously none of us can control, right? It's a much more macro global situation. And luckily for us, the interest rates started going down because of the last month's 0.5% interest cut, and like expected maybe 1 or 2 more cuts in this year. And it is expected that next year it will start going down because inflation is under control. Because inflation is under control and the interest coming down, we also we are seeing that especially in markets like Florida, we are seeing that supply of homes is increasing, and hence the price is also expected to come down and become more meaningful. Once that happens, what will happen is the ability to find the right kind of home, selecting, and then like helping them find the right mortgage. These are like some of the core areas that AI and technology will definitely help people, so that like they can precisely make their decision of investment. By the way, like buying a home in the US is probably the single largest financial decision one makes. So like especially the first time home buyers, they will have all kinds of anxious, in fact, I was shocked to learn that 56% of Americans cry while buying, at least once while buying home, it seems. I was like touched by that. That means, like, can we, like make that process smooth? So, like we have an agent, like AI agent called Claire. Claire can answer any of your question 24/7. Like let's say you wake up at 2 a.m. and you have a question. If you are only human realtors, you can't call them and ask a question at 2 a.m., right? But Claire can answer and give you, more meaningful answers. The more transactions, the more questions that we have a few thousand people testing it, etc. The more questions that we get to, capture, the better it becomes, and the answers are getting better and better every day.
And what are the most common questions that you've noticed, home buyers are constantly asking?
People are worried about, is it affordable for me? That is the like single biggest thing that we have noticed. Second is, does it match my requirement, right? Like I can afford, let's say, $500,000, but I need 3-bedroom house in this area. Can I find the right one? Or like, can I have access to the school district? And like, how is the crime rate? Those are the kind of standard questions that we are seeing.
What is a question that you're anxious about for a first-time home buyer?
As a first-time home buyer, my question probably will revolve around, how much down payment do I need to bring in, right? See, before August 17th, it was a different case, and now suddenly a 100-year-old tradition of real estate has been broken, and new pattern has emerged. So new kinds of contracts are being bandied out and so on. As a first-time home buyer, I'm more confused than what I was like before August 17th, right? So most likely it will be about, can I afford something, and how much is the down payment? Those would be my top of the mind kind of questions.
And I want to ask a question now around like the future of real estate and like the tech that's involved. So, beyond AI, which emerging technologies do you believe will have the greatest impact on the real estate sector?
I mean, like, see, probably it is robotics. So what robotics will do is, see, today constructing a home is a very manual process, right? Like everything is dependent on the availability of labor and stuff like that. So there will be a lot of robotics, 3D printing kind of, etc. Those will be the ones which will increase the supply and hence reduce the price of the homes. Today, home prices are artificially high because of the supply and demand gap. That is happening because of this lack of availability of labor, and robotics will solve some portion of that.
A question that I'm curious about is when we think of like the ethics of AI, sometimes people are really concerned, they're like, hey, this is still new and changing, even though, as you commented before, it's really not that new. AI has been around for a while. But as AI plays a role in property valuations and investment decisions, how does reAlpha ensure fairness and transparency in its algorithms? And what safeguards this in place?
See, again, AI, can it be made safe? That is one of the $1 trillion kind of question, right? AI has already passed the Turing test, and we are arriving in a new era of the acceleration of technologies. I'm a pro acceleration of technology, and hence I believe that technology will find its way. If you look at almost all destructive technologies, right? Nuclear power, that was a destructive technology. It was supposed to be a human bomb, but eventually ended up as a better technology, right? I don't know whether YouTube will allow you to put those kind of words also, right? Now you may have to edit it out because of the AI behind. So YouTube's AI will filter it out, or it won't allow you to use those kind of terminology itself. So what is going to happen is, from a pure real estate sector perspective and our own Claire AI that we have, what we have done is we have put enough guardrails in such a way that anything non-related searches are allowed, right? We have made sure that it doesn't veer around every other field and gets lost, or hallucination, which is a standard problem of AI.
My next question is more around team of reAlpha. And I think that's important for investors or anyone that's curious about, using reAlpha. How do they have confidence in like the management team as well as your own leadership?
Yeah. See, I have a very simple rule. Everyone should hire better than themselves. So what I have done is I have surrounded myself with smarter people than I am, and hence they have surrounded themselves with smarter people. So our talent density, as they say, is very high, and every new addition increases the average of our talent density than reducing it. So I am lucky to have some of the finest professionals in the industry to work with, in terms of whether it is real estate or technology or finance, people, etc. Right? In each of those areas, we have really smart people. We have talent from all over the world, right? From the farthest, Jakarta, Singapore, Nepal, India, in US, and in Brazil and Portugal. So we have talent all over the world. So we are truly diverse in terms of opinion, ideas, and finally the smartest ones have to win. That's the key goal.
I know I've seen before that you've networked as well as interviewed successful leaders. So what do you think makes a great CEO go from good to great, or be a great leader?
See, a combination of maybe 4 or 5 things. There is no one answer for that, right? A combination of 4 or 5 things. Number one, are you operating in a large growing market? For example, we are in the real estate. Real estate is the world's largest asset class, right? The second is, do you have a great team? Third is, do you have a great product or service so differentiated that nobody can easily copy? And the fourth one is, do you have the capital and the resources that are necessary? Above all these things, whether you call it as timing or luck or destiny or whatever word that suits you. For me, it is luck, right? So. Can you time everything in life? Yeah, some can, but it's largely luck. So a combination of these 5. But sometimes, someday it may be 20% of this and 20% of that, etc. Someday 90% of everything or 99% of everything else. That 1%, the luck part can alter. I mean, we have seen enough cases where some of the smartest people with all the resources, all the stuff, still fail because of the timing.
So a question I want to ask you that I ask a lot of my guests, is I'm really trying to inspire others, to achieve greatness and enhance their overall personal well-being. And so a question I have for you is like, what is your definition of greatness?
Greatness is achieving whatever Mount Everest that you want to climb, right? Like your own, you define your own Mount Everest and, like go out and climb. For me, like listing on Nasdaq was my corporate, Mount Everest. I climbed it twice. So, that's how, like one has to define whatever their corporate, I mean, whatever their Mount Everest version is of their life.
I respect that definition. If people are wondering, hey, where could we go to connect? Where could we go to ask questions? Where could we go to know more about reAlpha? Where would you point them?
Uh, I mean, like Giri Devanur on Twitter or on LinkedIn, those are the areas that, I normally respond to. Like, I mean, there are every other channel is available today because of the social media. So I'm on all of them as Giri Devanur.
Are there any other like last words, in terms of like the real estate sector or just something inspiring that you want to leave with our audience?
Yeah, due to this, like NAR changes, etc. Once that happened, I wrote a book called No Fees, Just Keys. So, like I took, some 70 odd movies and, like used those movie themes and wrote multiple chapters in that. So, if your users are interested, it's free on Kindle. You can go to, Amazon and look for No Fees, Just Keys by me. And, you can download it and, it's fun read. So you can read.
Just want to take this last little bit of time. Like, thank you for being here. Thank you for being so present. And thank you for everything that you have to share.
Thank you very much, Ben. Have a great day.